In the world of donuts, there's a lot of favorites. Sprinkled donuts, powdered donuts, twist donuts, jelly-filled. But if you ask most people what's their favorite donut in the whole world, the most common answer that you'll probably get is apple fritter. Apple fritters today here in the United States, they're typically mostly dough with a little bit of apple inside, but it wasn't always that way. Early in American history, apple fritters took after British fritters, which were sliced up apples that were dipped into a milk and an egg mixture, and then dipped in flour and then fried. So they were mostly fruit. And after that, you could put a little bit of sugar and cinnamon on them, if I could speak correctly. Well, it turns out that there's a lot of other varieties of fritters out there. Technically, a fritter is defined as anything that is battered and then fried. So there's both sweet and savory types. So let me give you some examples of that. In China, there's a lot of street side vendors that sell vegetarian-based fritters as well as some meat-based fritters. In South Asia, onion varieties are popular. In India, there's a state where banana fritters are popular. In Iran, there's a variety of fritter that has potatoes and herbs. In Korea, there's a variety that's made with seaweed. In Africa, there's a common one that's made with pumpkin. And if you think about Japan, technically tempura is a type of fritter. And then just to kind of cap things off here, over in the UK, some of their fritters include pea-filled fritters, the green kind, as well as corned beef or spam-based fritters. Isn't that crazy? And here in the good old US of A, there are some regional favorites such as corn fritters and zucchini fritters. Well, I don't know about you, but all this talk about fritters is making me want to find out who has the best here in town and enjoy the best that there is to offer. So, the contenders for today are going to be Provo Bakery, Macy's Grocery Store, Daylight Donuts, Smith's Grocery Store, and wait a minute, let me count those again. Daylight Donuts, Smith's, Macy's, and Provo Bakery. Okay, I don't know if I got those in order right the first time, but anyway, let's go find out who's got the best one. Hi, could I get an apple fritter and a dozen donut holes? Okay, thank you.
Actually, we're out of apple fritters though.
Ooh, okay, I guess then just a dozen donut holes will be fine.
Okay. We have cran raspberry fritters.
Okay, I'll try one of those.
One of those? Okay.
Yep. Okay. What do you think about there being no regular apple fritters?
It's a crime against humanity.
Yeah, what do you think, Maddie?
It will be awesome.
Okay.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome. Okay. Hello, I would like one apple fritter.
I think that we only have raspberry left.
Okay, then I will do a raspberry fritter.
Alrighty, sorry about that.
Donuts were great, and they taste super good.
Yup, there's some really good donuts from Daylight Donuts.
This is going to be our first trip to Smith's this season to try out their donuts. In we go. All right. It says for your convenience, since this is closed, that you can only get donuts here on the counter, and it appears that none of these donuts are apple fritters or include apple fritters. So looks like we're having an epic fail today. So all right, goodbye. Okay, this is our last stop, Macy's. The name always throws me because if someone says, hey, I'm going over to Macy's. Oh, I left the car locked. I'm going over to Macy's. It always sounds like you're going to a department store. But anyway, this is a grocery store that has an amazing bakery. So let's go see what they have going on during the coronavirus. Right, here too at Macy's, the donut case has been thrown into disarray. And as far as I can tell, none of these boxes contain an apple fritter. So, fail. Okay, this is getting pretty crazy for me here, but I'm not even sure which one was which now. I think this is the Daylight Donuts one, and this is the Provo Bakery one. So we'll find out in just a second which one is the best. I'm gonna keep pointed at the plate while I compare between the two different options here, Provo Bakery and Daylight Donuts. What do you ladies behind me think? What do you think about Provo Bakery versus Daylight?
I feel like the texture is better in this one. It's not as pretty, but I do like the crunch it kind of provides. This one, I feel as if it has more of a fruity taste, but it doesn't have as good of like a crunch to it.
What do you think, Mrs. Kettles?
Well, I did like the presentation of the Provo Bakery donut. That looked like a true apple fritter. And it was lighter and fluffier, but I didn't taste a lot of raspberry in there. And I tasted the grease. You know how you have a donut and you're like, oh, there's grease in there, which we know donuts are fried in grease. But the Daylight Donuts one, I thought the raspberry was more apparent. And the dough was actually, I thought was a nicer flavor than the Provo Bakery, surprisingly. I thought it was, and I didn't taste as much grease. I actually prefer the Daylight Donuts one this time.
For me, I would say it's a toss-up overall. They looked very different and they had a very different texture, and yet at the end of the day, I really couldn't differentiate too much between them. This one, it looked really flat and dense, and it kind of did taste relatively dense, but not in a bad oily way. This one looked super light and fluffy to the extent that it didn't look like it had any fruit in it. And you know, when you get an apple fritter, you don't just want a big old fluffy piece of bread with some sugar on top. You want pieces of apple in there. I got one little, Danielle was saying, I did get a little bit of, I did get this weird essence of oil flavor in this one, a certain kind of burnt oil essence in there, even though this one looks so much fresher. So I don't know, really at the end of the day, both of them were a wash. Neither of them had like that knockout punch, which was kind of like what you get in a bear claw, where you get a whole big old mouthful of apple pie filling. Neither one of them, even though it looked like that, gave me that feeling. And then weirdly enough, neither one of these were actually apple fritters, because they ended up being raspberry fritters at both places, since apple fritters were out everywhere. So for me, I would say these were both nice donuts, but not the fritter of my childhood dreams. You'd have to probably go to some other places for that at this point.